Right, greetings everybody. Robin here from Courage is the Cure. Welcome to episode 62 of Rise. Today we're going to be speaking to none other than Michael Gray Griffith, and I'll see you all in a jiffy.
Strength of a woman world on her shoulders. Fight through the noise when the world gets colder. 832, got the grit, got the fire. Watch her rise, watch her come higher.
Alrighty, greetings everybody. Like I said, welcome to episode 62 of Rise. It is Friday, the 14th of November, 2025. We didn't have an episode of Rise on Monday, so it's wonderful to see everybody. Thank you to everybody on Buy Me a Coffee. 100% crowdfunded for a very important reason, so I can remain independent and share the show. I think Fascist Book doesn't like my guest. My guest today is Michael Gray Griffith, the founder of Cafe Locked Out. One of our most fantabulous playwrights, band playwrights, shall we say, in Australia. My great pleasure to welcome Michael to the show. Good morning, Michael.
Howdy.
How are you?
Good, gorgeous. How's yourself?
Very well, very well. Getting ready for the silly season that's approaching us, isn't it? Pretty quickly.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, yes.
So, like I'm just going to put the
I can't
banner.
believe this year's
Excuse
gone
me.
so quick.
No, I know. Title of the show is Banned. I just mentioned for anybody that hasn't followed Michael for any length of time, maybe new to Cafe Locked Out, you are one of Australia's, I don't know, are you the only banned playwright in Australia?
Oh, I don't know if I'm the only band, but yeah, I am banned. Yeah. So this is
Yeah.
if you get rid of the podcast Rise thing, this
Hmm.
is the band book company. So I've started this with John Stapleton. So he published my
Hmm.
book Goodbye Road, and I said to him, there's all these people out here from our community have written books and they can't market them. They've just got them sitting around their house in boxes. So why
Yep.
don't we start getting them together and start collating our culture, our literature culture, literature culture. Is that how you would say
Hmm.
that? Our culture, literature. I don't know. What would you how would you say that? Yeah.
Um,
Our written culture, maybe.
yeah.
And so yeah, so we've got 4 on there at the moment, and what we're after, if you're out there, we can't promise we'll market everything because it have to be of a standard, but we're thinking rather than really long 80,000, 100,000, 200,000 word novels, like short novels, like 20,000, 25,000 words, which don't take that long to write, and we sell them as small novellas of maybe what you've been through in the last 5 years, or I think
Mhm.
this time needs to be captured. It can't all be captured by a couple of
Yep.
podcasters and stuff like this. So, one about Epic would be good. If you went to Epic, write about
Yep.
how you went there. Why'd you go there? What was the trip like there? What was the experience like there? Did you get injured?
Yep.
And your thoughts afterwards. Oh, we also got a new word for you. This came up from Jerry. If he's watching, I'll just get his name. I think it's called Jerry C. I'll just see. But this is he said this to reply to one of mine, and I thought, oh, that's fantastic. And then I thought, oh, Robin's gonna love that word. So we've heard of surveillance, or he calls
Yep.
it. It's coming up now. Surveillance.
That's great. Fantastic.
That has to go in your book. You need a book of words. Now, a lot of them are yours, babe. Words that
Yeah, I've
it's
started
because it's
writing
language.
a notebook of I think essentially, because I had ideas of creating a calendar with all these words, but I think actually it's going to become a dictionary. So, as you mentioned, the Australian literary history of the COVID war and post-COVID war, I guess, is the time frame. That
Yeah.
that dictionary would fit in nicely there with all those new words. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good morning,
There it is.
Joanne. Pickleball. Yeah. So
Oh,
just
see Fort Cloy, right? If you want to see how we're banned, look up Fort Cloy on Facebook. It
mhm,
goes, this page can't be found, can't be reached.
yeah. Yeah, I think we can see here we've got uh 0 people watching on Fort Cloy. We're streaming there right now, and there's 0 people watching because it
Yeah,
is a
it's a
banned
dead page.
page.
Yeah.
If people do have a short novel or whatever it might be, and they want to contact the banned book company, how do they do that, Michael?
Oh, you can just contact us at Cafe Locked Out, or there's a submission form on the page. I'll just put the page up. There's a submission form, and this is a long-term project, and we've got to see what happens. But there it is there. The BBC Banned Book Club.
That's ironic, isn't it?
Maybe the Banned Book
Uh,
Club should be what it is. But this is where we live, Robin. Look at us. We're both Australians, and we now
yeah.
live in a time in Australia where you can have a banned book company because there's
Mhm,
so many banned books. Yeah,
that's right.
and we're
Well,
selling it on a banned show.
exactly. I mean, we were just saying that, there's 0 viewers on Fort Claw on Facebook. Let's not forget that Facebook gave Cafe Locked Out the 3,649-day ban as well.
That's right. That's right. They gave
Ridiculous,
us our
isn't it?
YouTube page back though. We
What is
it
that
we
about, do you reckon?
I went to I accidentally so I've got a secret YouTube page but then I went into log into YouTube and Cafe Locked Out just came up and it said this page has been suspended. And it said if you'd like us to review it, click here. So I clicked here and then it said, the page has been taken down like years ago, like 4 years ago. And it said, why should we let you, come back? Why should we unban you? And I said, because my stuff's good. That's what I wrote. Because I couldn't be bothered to write anything else because I thought they're never going to let me back on. And 2 minutes later, page is back. I think we should approach Facebook to see if we can get Cafe Locked Out back.
Yeah,
Got
well, you never
100,000,
know.
106,000 people there. And if we could get that back and get rid of the shadow banning,
Yep.
even though, of course, we're heading into digital ID Armageddon. But yeah.
Well, it's funny on YouTube because David Icke has just got his YouTube channel back. Alex
Yeah.
Jones has just got his channel back on YouTube. So
Mm.
makes me wonder what they're up to.
I think they might be trying to stop themselves going under,
Hmm.
because maybe the people aren't all going there just to watch people cook. Maybe they're realizing they've lost a significant market share to Twitter and Odyssey and
Maybe it's
Rumble.
a preemptive, like you said, uh, a preemptive move because who knows what's going to happen with this under 16
Mm.
social media ban, but quite potentially, there's a huge market there from children on YouTube because,
Mm.
okay, there's YouTube Kids, but, the amount of young people that watch YouTube, potentially, the revenue won't be there from the views and,
Yeah.
the stores that they have and all that sort of stuff. So how are they going to maintain that money, let alone increase the profitability of YouTube? Well, they'd have to bring back what huge channels, and Alex Jones are people that are huge. David Icke, another person that's huge.
Mm.
Despite information that they might not like. They'll still be able to censor them, because of their
Mm.
community guidelines and standards. It
Oh
just
yeah,
depends how much David and
maybe that's another way. Shadow banning is better than censoring because they can't. You say you censor me. You go, no, people just don't like you.
mhm,
G'day, David.
mhm.
No, with FB, we actually got an official. There was me and I think it was somewhere in Portugal on the same day. A Portuguese independent political party and myself, Cafe Lockdown, with 100,000 followers, got told that we're going to cop a 3,649-day restriction. Not a ban, just a restriction for 3,400 and something. It was a smidgen under 10 years. I remember when it happened, I was looking up at the guy, the house I was staying at, going, how many years is 3,649? But 10, g'day,
A
Susanna. So yeah,
a
I'm in an internet
restriction,
gulag.
yeah. A restriction instead of a ban reminds me of Miss Julie Inman Grant, because she doesn't want to call the under 16-year-old social media a ban. She's calling it a delay. This is the language that the 1984 news speak. They try to soften the blow to people and try to convince them it's not actually what it is.
Yeah, that thing she did that you showed between the lines, we should have redone that because that was just so bad. Now what's happening here?
Terrible.
Just going to save before my computer dies.
So, of course,
Let's
the
go there.
other big news, was it this week or late last week? I can't remember. Of course, Damien with
Oh
the
yes,
Nazi salute.
he has been.
Because
He has been sending me. He's in good spirits. So for those who don't know, Damien Richard, and he was very early on with me in Cafe Lockdown. We did a show together for about a year, I guess, or something less than a year. And we were doing like 7 nights a week at that time. And he went to a gathering, and he did a salute, but he did it as a thing to show this is ridiculous to be fined or imprisoned for doing this action.
mm, oh, oh, happened to Michael? Well, I have something pre-prepared, everybody. We'll wait for Michael to
There you
come
go.
back.
Sorry. So
There we are.
he had it. He did that, and someone was there and filmed him doing it. Yeah,
Yeah. So,
and they went after
mhm,
him, and he gets December the 4th. So in about 3 weeks, he gets sentenced, and jail is one of the things open to the judge. So yeah, it's interesting because the judge did say that he's not really doing it because he aligns with Hitler.
yeah,
But the fact is, you did it. And we live in a nanny state now
mhm,
where this is a nanny state rule. I mean, one man I saw, the most beautiful comment, he said, my grandfather fought the Nazis, so you have the right to do any salute you want.
mhm,
Oh,
yep.
that was a really good point. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not only the Nazi salute, but Nazi symbols. Heaven forbid if you've got an offensive sticker,
You tell me, David.
all these sorts of things.
Yeah.
Even, I mean, we started off talking about the banned book company, Michael, and we've seen that the gentleman from the NSN was just granted bail, and the corporate media make a heavy point to say that when he was going into court and when he can't, he's carrying the book Mein Kampf. Um, you know, do we have another book on our hands perhaps that Australia is going to ban and outlaw because it's, associated with being a Nazi?
Yeah, there has always been banned books in Australia. People don't know. Like Big Ears got banned in Australia, Noddy and Big Ears, because they were making too much fun of the police officer, Mr. Plod, whatever his name was. So they got banned. This was when we were
Mhm.
kids. Gollywogs got banned. You don't see
Yep.
gollywogs anymore. So we do have this thing of keeping us. I think it's
Apart
been
from
a
in my house.
gradual a gradual slipping. It's like
Yes, you do,
authoritarian
Michael.
rule, but basically, in Singapore, it's on toothpaste and stuff. It's not an issue. Man,
Yep.
that's just got us banned. Why don't you do a Nazi salute? We'll call it the show. There's something over there. I'll just reach up and get it. So here's where we are. But the thing is, I do think a lot of people who are even doing it aren't doing it maliciously. They actually, my scary thing is that they believe what they're doing, but they've got this concept in their head that we need protecting from ourselves. Like op shops. You can't buy steak knives in op shops. I live in a bus, as you can see, and we wanted some steak knives because we left our steak knives at a barbecue. And there's these old women going, we're not allowed to sell them. It's the law. But Aldi next door sells them. So obviously the serial killers aren't aware of that. So they're in there looking for a little steak knife so they can, and even, so this is sort of nanny state sort of control, and I think it's got to a point now where they can't, there's so many government workers and employees and committees and all this other stuff that they just keep adding on to this layer of nanny suppressing bullshit,
Yep.
They can't help themselves. Like banning who'd they ban recently? Can't come to the Condoleezza Rice, is it? What's her name?
Candace Owens.
Candace Owen. They banned Candace Owen. So we can't hear her. We can look her online, but we can't physically look her and hear the words coming out of her mouth. We wouldn't be able to handle that as Australians,
Yep.
Fuck off.
It damages social cohesion. A funny story about Aldi.
Give her a machete, she'll fit right in.
We went up north nearly 12 months ago, and up north, I mean probably 400 k's north of Perth, and went to Aldi. We wanted to get some supplies, and for anybody that hasn't been into Aldi, in the middle of the shop they have all these items that are for sale. It could be containers, could be
Yeah, it's all
towels,
manner
could
of
be
shit.
whatever.
Yeah.
And when we went in there, they were selling small axes, right? And of course, my husband, he's a wood chopping fella. He was admiring the axes and considering buying one. Anyway, we went to pay for our goods, and there's a security guard standing there, and I'm like, I said to him, I've never seen a security guard before in Aldi. What's going on here? Do you have a? And he said, no, we're here because there's axes for sale. And I was like, what? He said, yeah, you'd be surprised how many people try to come in and steal the axes. And I'm just like, where are we? What's going on? So,
Where do you
maybe
stash the axe? It's not the easiest thing to sort of stick down your pants, is it?
Who knows?
You get caught and go for a runner, who knows what could happen,
Unbelievable. Yeah. Hello, Shona. How you going? Message from Shona. Hello, Robin and Michael. Missed you guys. As I have said, hubby had been diagnosed with bowel and liver cancer, been unwell. Hopefully start treatment soon. Not sure till we get answers next week. 2 bloody jabs wouldn't listen. Oh,
sorry,
Shona.
Shona. Why don't you have a look at Lee's interview from last night, Shona? He was talking about cancer, and I'll give you the Rumble link. Because he's done 2 shows on it now, and he was talking about the ketone diet last night, and so I'd get him on that ASAP. So he's not saying don't do chemotherapy, but he's saying that there's studies out from the whole medical community to how the ketone diet is really working at starving the cancers. So it's like besieging them, that they can't grow, and removing glucose from the system. I'll bring it up for you, Shona.
Yeah. So
he's a little hard to understand, but he's the metabolic reset, but he's fantastic. Where are we?
Hello, Rex. How are you? Nice to see you here. Yeah, keto's, well, actually, that was first developed to help children with epilepsy, and
Hey,
they had
Rex.
great successes with that.
There you go.
Mhm.
Check that out. Check that out. Who was it? Shina. And good luck, baby.
Yep. Mm, mm.
That's next on the
Yeah.
agenda.
Well, the theme of the show is banned. I mean, we've had the teacher in Ireland who was put in
Yep.
jail, taken to court. You know, now the courts want to bankrupt him because he's a religious man, a Christian, and refuses to use the ideology forced upon him
Mm.
to what to use he or she instead of pronouns that he doesn't want to use. In Western Australia, there's a big thing going on with a gentleman wanting to get his dream job at a library, but doesn't agree with the ideology there. There's a big thing going on with that. And so I wanted to share, and it's Trans Awareness Week, Michael. It's
They get the
Trans
whole week.
Awareness Week.
The veterans
Whole
who
week.
fought for the country get one day, one morning, really. But the trans get the whole week.
So I just want to share this video from X. Now, we've had a lady that is a member of a Gold's Gym in America, and she went to the ladies and did not appreciate being in there with a man, despite this man saying that he's a trans woman. There was a big kerfuffle over that, and actually, we've got an update this morning about this trans woman. So I just want to show everybody this update in regards to this story.
The Gold's Gym locker room scandal just took a shocking new turn. The person at the center of it all has been revealed to have a serious criminal past. According to media reports, before transitioning, this individual was known as Grant Freeman. In 2022, he pleaded guilty in Ohio to domestic assault that caused serious injury to a partner. After serving his sentence, he transitioned and took his ex-partner's name, Alexis. Yes, the same person who now insists on entering women's locker rooms, claiming they have every right to be there, is the same person once convicted of serious domestic violence. Yet when women speak up and say they feel unsafe, they're the ones silenced, banned, and labeled as intolerant. Remember the woman who lost her Gold's Gym membership? She simply voiced her concern and got removed for it. Now this story has gone viral. One side supports the gym's inclusivity policy, while the other, mostly women, just want to feel safe. If even people with serious criminal backgrounds can freely enter women's spaces, then maybe something in the system is broken.
Yeah, you're giving creeps and perverts a golden ticket. Can you believe it? I mean, to me, like say, look, I'm a lot older than you, a lot older. And so when we were in grade 1, we played a thing called Kiss Chasey. Now, the thing about Kiss Chasey, apart from the fact the girls were very easy to catch, obviously, which is that they would run into the girls' toilet, and that was Barley's. And you taught the boys very early on, the women's toilet is women's place. So it's a safe place for women. They go in there, men don't follow. And it gets into your DNA so deeply that even now I always check. Come in, always check. Because I don't go into the girls' toilet. Because that's just how it is. And I think that's really, really healthy, because I've got a daughter, and when I used to have to take my kids out, especially when she got to about 7 or 8, I'd be standing outside the toilet, like thinking, God, she's been a while. Is anything happening? I couldn't go in. Do you know what I mean? It was so, as a man, it's really interesting. So, but I know that perverts, and perverts and males, there's a lot of us. They would love the idea of getting in. And if they don't have, say they're on the spectrum where they don't have like a sociopath, or they just don't give a shit if they're caught, because they've got the right, they're going to go in and have access to watching young girls, other women, there's a chance
Mhm.
they could see something or interact with something or worse. That's the truth. Now, there might be a small group of trans who really believe they're women and would never think of doing anything like that. But, well, there's a disabled toilet. Use that, you know.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I think the woman's toilet should be for biological women. I really do.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
think it's mainly done for safety so the women can feel. I know a lot of women, like let's be honest, there's a lot of women get nervous. They can't actually do the toilet stuff. Everything seizes up. So, so yeah, I think this issue is done just to try divide us, just to try cause division in
Yep.
society. That's why it's never been an issue before, you know?
And the funny thing is having talking about perverts, and of course, you've already said it, not all
Oh my God.
uh
Who's
not
this who's
all
this
real.
dropkick? Is that your mate? Trans awareness, because they never get mentioned in the media or government releases. I've never heard
He's
of them.
kidding.
That's
He's
that's
kidding.
hilarious. Yeah. That's cool. Sorry, I'm
Um
not used to you, David. We've got a lot of trolls on our page. Yeah, I mean
David,
it's
David's great.
but something really interesting. So I'm mates with Mianna. I don't know if you had her on. She transitioned 30 years ago. And she told me when she was transitioning, it took a year before they would give her any medication or even consider surgery. She was allowed to wear a dress. She was allowed to do other things like that. But every
Mhm.
week she sat with a psychologist who would rigorously challenge her to make sure she was making the right decision. So our society, we
Mhm.
said, okay, you want to change? You've got gender dysphoria, which she claims she has. Then we're going to
Yep.
do it very, very, very slowly so you're absolutely sure. And then she went through and
Mhm.
she's been that way ever since. And that's really, really cool. But now they don't do
Yep.
that. A 12-year-old kid suddenly decides they want to trans. Bang, there's your puberty blockers on it. We're absolutely evil now. It's beyond
Mhm.
just neglectful or beyond sorry, my brain's not working much today. But but I think it's evil what we're doing to children. Yeah, I get it, David. It's actually really funny. There's and so that's why I think, and I also think that when the English took over India, the way they controlled hundreds of millions of Indians is they put a minority in charge. They favored a minority, which was the Muslims. They gave them the police office. They became the police officers, and then the Anglo Indians also became favored, and so the favor is a way of controlling the rest, and I think that's what they're doing with the trans, because what Mianna told me, she said, Michael, there's no such thing as a trans community. We don't meet up. We don't have phone calls. We don't get together and plan. It doesn't exist. She
Mhm.
goes, I never interact with trans. And then I interviewed, I think her name was Sarah, and she was muscle. She'd been a real muscle bouncer, covered in tats, and she transitioned, but even she admitted she looks just like she just looks like a man in a dress. But
Mhm.
for her, it was important to do. But she was older as well. But even she said in the lockdowns in Melbourne, she got it done then. And if you had cancer or a hip replacement, you couldn't get it done. But
Yeah.
if you wanted to have your old fella lobbed off, no problem at all. Come in. Don't worry about the pandemic. And so it's
Yep.
favoring. Look, they're the favored people. You know what I mean? And so I
Yep.
think it's all about just getting society divided and fighting each other and all that shit. Where literally before we never did it. You know,
Yep.
this it's
Well, I think
we didn't
now,
care.
that
Trans
they've
people were
they've
around,
got
they
all
were
these
normal.
things. They've got all these things into place now. I mean, we've got another example here from Martin. He's talking about a mate of his that
Yeah, that's right.
transitioned in the 90s, 10 years visiting psychologists before he could go ahead, had to live as a woman and use facilities to prove his decision. I mean, people, especially um, what we say, trans allies would say, well, that's a terrible way to treat people. But they've already done these things, and we can see that they've implemented, the ideology into schools. They've also, enabled teachers to keep it a secret when they're using pronouns and transitioning children at school and keeping it private from parents. But now they're moving into the space of changing our language and banning um, you know, this term of dead naming or misgendering people is now moving into the space of, you're a terrible person. You can't say that. We're going to make it illegal. It's hate speech, and we're going to ban what you say because you don't agree with our ideology. I mean, talk about hate speech laws that they've introduced into, especially the east coast of Australia, because of so-called anti-Semitic attacks and all these sorts of things. It's also moving into the space of making sure you choose the right language or just shut up when you're talking about trans people, and banning the very words that come out of your mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. There was like I went to a bottle shop today in Port Macquarie to buy some stuff for this. We're having a gig tonight, and I said to the guy behind the counter, because they had all these posters everywhere of people celebrating Christmas around the shop. There was about 6 or 7 posters, and I said, "Interesting posters." He said, "Yeah." I said, "There's no white people. They're all Fijian or the Filipino. They're all every other color but a white person." And I said, "I'm betting, no offense, that 80% of the alcohol you sell gets sold to white people." And he went, "Yeah, that's right." And he was gay. He said, "Yeah, that's 100% right." He said, "It's so woke." And he said, it's not working. But it's how it's subtle things like this. You're a second-class citizen. See, you're not on any of the posters smiling. Only the good people get on there. And I know this because when I was first in the arts, I used to work with Muslim, Indian, African artists who said they couldn't get anywhere. Like Neighbours had a policy when 20 years ago, it always had to be summer and everyone had to be white.
Mm-hmm.
That was the law. I think it was the same for Home and Away. And slowly they brought in more, but that was it. White and summer. And or maybe that was Home and Away. I can't remember which one. Because it was $2,000 to write for it. And I just couldn't do it. And so that's what I'm saying. This is a subtle ploy to make us, to teach us to shut up, to basically devalue us, really. So we devalue ourselves. Lee was talking about called learned helplessness, where he says, so if you stick a dog in a cage and you electrify the cage, the dog just whimpers and whimpers and whimpers. But when you open the door and still electrocute him, the dog doesn't leave. It just accepts its fate and it just sits there and gets electrocuted till it dies, Yep. And I do think that this stuff has been going on so long that a lot of Australians now, their apathy is actually learned helplessness. They're just adapting. Yeah, whatever. Okay, trans week. Yeah, whatever. They just adapt, and that's why with digital ID, we don't have what we're seeing in England. This huge rise of people refusing to get it. We're not seeing that. We're just seeing these people who've just, been broken, and now the bullies are getting away with whatever they want. I'm not talking everybody, but the vast majority. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering if
That's right,
Jane. Hi, Jane. How you going? She said, "So interesting. Only have a couple of trans friends. They hate the whole media thing. They are just themselves." Yeah.
Well, it's bad for them, Jane, because people are going to get more and more aggressive. So they're trying to wipe out transphobia, but they're actually creating it because the panel, I mean, I remember 10 years ago, there used to be a trans guy got on my tram when I was driving trams. He used to wear his wife's black negligee He had a handbag, had a beard, didn't even try, like me, like a beard, about my age now. And he would get on the tram and he'd just sit on the tram in his high heels and he'd just go into Melbourne from Kew. So he's probably a barrister or something, you know. So but I used to watch the people around them, and this is what they do. They look at each other like I'm looking at you, Robin. And it'd be a smile. That was it. No one had ever attacked him. No one ever pushed him. No one ever called him any names. They didn't care. It was just, it was a reason to smile because he looked a bit funny in this negligee with the beard, because it's not something that we see every day. He wasn't getting victimized. So that's all bullshit. And Jacinta Allen over here, she held this trans person, said, we'll keep you safe from us. We'll keep you safe, you know, because, and she said something else and they said, they're committing suicide, which doesn't care about all the men that are committing suicide, which is about 6 a day. That doesn't matter. And then the other thing too is that the trans people, and we all know this, is that when they commit suicide, it is after they've transitioned. And I think suddenly they realize they can't get back. And because they didn't have what happened to Mianna, where they had this year-long, are you sure? Are you really sure? Are you really sure? Are you really sure? Because they didn't have that, they're allowed to make it sort of make decision quickly. And then they're on the conveyor belt. They get all this fame and interest in this and this. And then suddenly it's all over. They've transitioned, end of the story. And no one cares about them anymore because everyone's turned their right to something else. And then they sit there and going, where are my breasts? What have I done? What's this strange cucumber they've made out of my leg that does nothing, sitting between my legs, and everything hurts? And apparently breastfeeding really hurts because the milk comes out, it's got nowhere to go. So they have all these sort of problems, and they realize they've been completely duped by the state. And so lost, can't get back, so they kill themselves, you know? And so it's questionable that the ones pushing it, the ones making it easy for them to transition, are actually the ones who are behind the rise in their suicides. Take that and stick it in your cap.
Good evening in Canada. Hi, Doreen. How are you going?
Doreen.
David's asking, where can he find out more about you, Michael? Can you direct David
Call ASIO.
to...
They've got my number. I'm on a speed dial with ASIO. Just Cafe. Probably my Substack's the best. Cafe Locked Out on Substack. Yeah.
Well, to round us off with that topic, I just want to screen the share. We can't have a good episode of Rise without screening the share. I have a few bookmarks on X, and one of them is Women Will Save the World. And I save all sorts of videos there which are appropriate under that title. And I thought, because it's Trans Awareness Week, you know, we've just been talking about that. Let's enjoy this video, everybody. Here we go.
Oh, you know, it should be burned in fire. That's what should happen. Should be burned in fire for that disgustingness.
But that's
You're
nasty.
You're nasty.
You're nasty.
Look at you.
What,
Look at
pointing
you.
at me. Help
Like
me.
you,
Help me, someone.
Like you,
Don't look
yeah.
at.
You see-
Listen here, son. You fucking pointing at me again. You cunt. I'll drop you, all right? Fucking jog on. And you prick.
And she didn't even ruin her mascara.
Help me, help me, help me.
Look, on another note, if you do have gender dysphoria, like Mianna,
Yes.
I think it's really hard because she said she was growing up, she
definitely.
knew there was something wrong and couldn't do it. And
Yep.
so who's to know that she is right for her? And I do think there is a percentage that really have it. And I
Yep.
think the fact that we were able to do that operation before and we did it, like I worked in Tasmania once, Rest Point Casino, Tasmania. That's when being gay was against the law in Tasmania. And the front counter in the evening was a trans woman. So being a man now as a trans woman, she used to run the night shift of the whole hotel. So that's who we were as a culture. We put her out front. We don't care. That's what she's done. She does the job. She looks good. I used to love chatting to her. And the only thing we all used to talk about was just used to wonder what's down there. Because there's been, you know, you just wonder. But it's not like, oh my God, I'm disgusting. It's just, you just wonder. and she was
Yeah.
accepted. Now, she might not have been accepted to the level she wanted to be. I don't know. We didn't talk about that. But the fact was, most of us knew this has been going on for decades. All this stuff now is just new. And my fear is that children who have lost their way, who are looking for approval or looking for attention and using and basically mistaking attention for worth, which is what we have now in our our Instagram driven economy, so they see it as worth. And so they start this journey. And my daughter told me, and I've had 2 or 3 teachers tell me, that what they do is these groups go around the schoolyard and they're looking for the kids who are like on the spectrum, who don't fit in. Maybe they're fat, maybe, no offense, ugly. They just don't fit in. And they go, why don't you join us? And then suddenly they're in the little group. But this group has new rules. And they get caught in that. And that's what they generally do. And it's a search for power. And they get power in the school as a group. I mean, I remember a 12-year-old told me, a mate of mine, his daughter, she said what they do is their teachers get them, the trans kids or the transitioning kids, to stand up in the class, and they have to tell everybody how they feel about being bullied by the class. And the kids have to apologize to them for bullying them. Even though she said there's no bullying, they still have to apologize. She said, I wouldn't do it. But this is how they're doing it. These ones these are more precious to us. These are the teachers' pets. And so kids into there who are feeling lonely and isolated might be going, well, maybe if I pretend I'm transitioning, I can get in that group. And if you talk to the detransitioners, which I think you've had one on, but I've been trying to reach out to them, this is what they talk about. They were duped. They're like people were caring for them in this, but it wasn't. There's this strange ideology. Even now, it even links up to a strange asexualness rising amongst the young. I got told the other day that 45%, this on a podcast, 45% of men between 18 and 25 have never asked a woman out.
What?
45%.
Is that because men have been emasculated?
I think there's 2 things. I think the women have a lot of power now. The men feel worthless. That, these young men grow up in a world where they're told, you're white. You're bad if you're white. You're heterosexual. You're bad if you're heterosexual. We have to treat you not to be a rapist because you're a rapist, and we've got to train you not to be a rapist, and all this other stuff, which was in my play, my brother. So there's all this stuff like this that they've done. So these men have a deep sense of worthlessness. You see it as they walk around. Their shoulders are hunched forward. Their heads are down. They've got a lope. This is in. And now they've suddenly got to go and talk to this woman who's walking around like, oh, I'm a woman, and, and ask her out. They're like, I don't stand a chance. So they give up before they start. And it's a huge thing to do. I remember growing up, it's enormous. Say we're in a bar and I see you and I think, oh, look at her. And I've got to cross the bar and somehow spark up conversation. And what I'm literally doing is like, listen, I know there's a lot of words I've got to ask you before we can get in the sack, but is there any sort of thing, because this, or maybe I'm falling in love with you. I'm not even thinking of laying you. I'm thinking, I don't know, there's something there, but what do I say? And if you turn around and give me a micro expression and then you just turn away, And so I think this is a real problem, because you got to do it as a guy. You get better at it. You get better at it. Do you know my best ever pickup line, which failed?
No.
This is my best ever pickup line. This really happened. And I'll tell you what happened. So I walked past a bed, bath, and table thing in Chadstone, I think, in the city. And in there was this woman about my age then. I was probably in my 30s. And she was really cute. And I thought, yeah, let's have a crack. So I went in and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the bath bombs. And she comes up and goes, can I help you, sir? And I said, yeah, actually, I've got a complaint. I bought one of these bed baths from this shop last week. I gave it bath bombs. I gave it to my mother. She had a bath yesterday and it blew off both her legs. So I'm wondering who I complain to. Of course, though, if you give him my number, maybe I'll just forget it all happened, and we can just go from there. Something
That's
like that.
really bad.
She loved it. It was better than that. I was cheekier, I was prettier, I didn't have a beard. But she loved it. And then she said, "Oh my God, that's like fantastic." She said, "I got a fella. I'm really sorry. Otherwise I'd go out with you." I said, "Oh, well, no one." But it was fun to do. It was fun to do because you know what we're missing? Wooing. Say a thing. If I wanted to try, the thought that I can somehow come across with a thing, "Can I buy you a drink?" Okay, we're married for life. No. Who are you? Will you stand by me? This is old-fashioned stuff. The wooing is not allowed. And if you go to nursing homes and ask these people who've been married for 50, 60 years, did he meet you in a bar and pick you up and you have a one-night stand? No. He chased me for the whole summer. And at the end, I thought, okay. And that's a woman deciding, how much does this man love me? How much? Is he going to flip out? She's testing him. Finally, she lets him in. They're married for 50 years or more. Ask the people who've been married that long. This is how it happened. But we've got rid of that now because if you try a second time with a woman, you're a stalker. So the men don't want to be seen as stalkers. They don't want to be seen as creeps. They just don't know what to fucking do because men are really simple. "I really like you. I just don't know how to be with you. I just really like to hang out with you. I don't know what to do." And basically every step they can think of is, "You'll be a stalker, you'll be a creep, or so they don't do it. And this is what's happening now,
Well, I mean, this whole situation for anybody
That's what
that's just joined us, we watched a few minutes ago a video of the trans woman scenario debacle at the Gold's Gym. Even
That's right,
these
Martin.
situations which keep happening reinforces this view now that men are ultimately creepy. I just want to put
Yeah.
this up. This was in the West Australian. Oh gosh, it must have been at the start of the year or last year. It's a shame I can't enlarge it, but this is, I would say, at least 12 months old. Front page, domestic violence campaign, boys will be, not boys, decent men. So massive funding injection for school program targeting toxic masculinity, so
There
they
you go.
just they
That's
just don't let up.
exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Can I just show you this? This is I had
Yeah.
this guy on the other day, Brian, and we did this. And I asked, let's just show you this, share screen. Because is that up? Can you put it up and I'll make it bigger? Is it up?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, where's he gone? Here he is. Wow! I would love to do that. Do you remember when it started and we laughed at it? It was mad.
It's been long.
Look at this. Look at this. This is
That's right. That's right.
let's just see if he can get one. Offended.
Oh, good on
Ali
you.
Prowl is anyway, he could do. I can't whistle. One of my things, I can't whistle. It doesn't work. But he could do a great wolf whistle. And we asked the audience, would you be offended? And our audience was mainly women, and they were not. They were the opposite.
Yep.
They were going, "Oh God, it'd make my day." And yet it's been outlawed. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So everything that a man does to try reach out to a woman is seen as a form of either he's a predator or he's a creep or this. So, basically the only way you can go now is get online and go, "This is how romantic we are." No, maybe. No, maybe. That's it. Try write the romantic Romeo and Juliet now era. Slide, maybe. Do you want to meet up for a hookup? Yeah, great.
Yep.
I know it sounds thin, but I just think that these are fundamental things that we could change. Men and women. That's why Kelly and I did that image. That's caused a lot of controversy. One of the reasons we did that is we are two mature heterosexual people who are been together 3 years, and we keep getting closer and closer. We're extraordinarily close now and love each other. And we took this photo in a hotel for a bit of fun. But one of them, you can't see anything. One of them was beautiful. And heterosexual love is not portrayed as beautiful anymore. So we thought, fuck it. So we'll put it up. And so many of these people going, oh, that's pornography. I've got a 16-year-old. He saw your leg. You know, it's just like crazy. And so these are things that I think are worth discussing, you know.
Well, Michael, are we forgetting, and I mean not us, I mean not even the general public. I'm talking to us lot. Yeah, Joanne, you still remember your last wolf whistle. You know, are we forgetting what we are subjected to, not only on social media as praising the stunning and brave, but actually on our streets in nearly every capital city, is parades of people in GIMP outfits, naked people in front of children because it's a family orientated event. You know, of course, you know, we have lots of things to say about that, but the fact of the matter is that that is shoved right under our noses. And again, if you don't like it, you're not allowed to say anything, because if you do, you're bigoted, you're transphobic, you're homophobic, and all the rest of it. And when a heterosexual couple want to put up a picture that is not pornographic in any way, shape, or form, I would say, because you don't see any nipples or pubes or anything like that,
No.
people are offended. I mean, they need to get their priorities straight. Yeah, there you go.
There goes. So that's, I mean, I've even got a little bit of a belly there, but what my love is the way Kelly was kissing me. We're very close and very happy. And it was just, I just thought it was a really lovely picture of that. And, but it was very interesting. There's a Gabrielle here. Gabrielle loved it. And a lot of people still do. There was a lot of people who liked it, but it really amazed me. Everyone's been talking about people going pornography, this, what, you know, and yet if I'd been two men there, they'd be going, oh my God, a celebration of love.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's
It
right.
probably would have made the front of the Woman's Weekly, you know?
Yep, stunning and brave. Stunning and brave. Yep.
Don't you think it's
You two
funny
are
that the
just
Woman's
creeps,
Weekly?
Michael.
Oh, I am. But the woman's, I love the fact that I remember making my sister laugh her head off, almost wet her pants, when I said, don't you think it's funny that the Woman's Weekly moved to a monthly publication but couldn't actually rename themselves the Woman's Monthly? It's a bloody good read. There's anyway, so
well, that's one of those taboo subjects, isn't it? Oh,
yeah,
dear.
it is. It was almost, there was an ad on once. I don't know if you remember it. And the ad was, they asked these guys, what tampons do your white partner use? And these guys are going, I don't know. And then one guy said, oh, Tampax. It was a brilliant ad. I remember Darren Hinch was going on about saying demystified, but it got canned. The women wanted it gone. So there's, we think we're this free, open society, but what's actually, what we're realizing is that we're really controlled. And they really control our culture. They sort of have this thing that they have to protect us from the darker side of life. That's why the MSN thing, you know, it's all bullshit, but I think it's bullshit because the real desire is to make Australians just feel completely safe, or someone else's problem. You know what I mean? Or look how bad it is overseas. Aren't you lucky you're in Australia? I don't know. But
I don't know either.
But I'd love us to see us grow up in so many different ways. And the best way to grow up is to allow everybody to freely talk, discover who they are, you know?
That's right. Well, Michael, I have thoroughly enjoyed having you on Rise this morning.
Sorry for talking too much. You asked me.
No, absolutely not. And David has gone along to cafelockedout.com.
Oh, g'day, Dave.
I
You should
think
come on, have a show, man. You're funny.
perhaps, I think he said he's subscribed, so maybe that's maybe on Fascist book page or wherever it was.
Oh, probably
That's
Substack.
correct.
Yeah.
Substack. Please go along to cafelockedout.com and go to the
Let me
right-hand
finish with a
side.
Christmas story.
Okay.
This is a true Christmas story, okay? And this talks about the importance of what Christmas actually is. So my family had reached a point that a lot of families do where all the kids were teenagers now and grown and adults. So the joy of little kids opening presents was gone. And for whatever reason this year, I didn't live at home. I was actually living out of home. But I decided to go back because the share house I was in, everybody else who was there, they were about 19. I was about 19, 18, 19. Everyone else had gone home to their own family. So I was there by myself. So I thought, screw it. I'll go back to my family, even though we went on the best of terms, but I'll go back and spend Christmas with my family. And I knew this was the first time ever the family didn't even have a tree. They hadn't even put up decorations, and it was Christmas Eve, and it was about 40 degrees. Now, I got off at the train in Midland, and the walk to where my parents lived then was probably about 6-7 kilometers. It was a hell of a walk. And there was one shitty Christmas tree left for $5 in the Scouts thing. Just a branch of some pine tree. Anyway, at $5, that's all I had was $5, so I bought it. And I dragged this effing branch with all its sticky little freaking things. I dragged it. I couldn't carry it. So I just dragged it for 5 kilometers, dragging this tree so that my family, who I wasn't getting on with, would have a tree. It was a hell of a thing. I finally get there. I get in the house. I'm walking through the house with it to find my younger brother and my mum laughing and really excited because they just got there. They'd gone out and got a tree. So suddenly we're sitting there and we didn't have one tree. We had 2 trees. And we're sitting there laughing. Oh, now we've got 2 trees. And my father called up and he was a bus driver. And he's on the phone saying, I need someone to come down the end road. I went, what? Come down the end of the road. I'll be there in about 15 minutes. Well, before he goes, I've got a tree. And he bought a tree and he'd shoved it in the bus so people couldn't get on the bus because of this tree. And because it was I think he was going back to the depot. So we had to go down there, me and my brother, and pick up this tree. So in the morning, Christmas Eve, our family had no Christmas decorations. We weren't even sure we were going to celebrate it. We had no tree. And on Christmas Day, we had a forest. And the reason we had a forest is because we love each other. And love said to us, you need to do something. And all of us did it individually, except my sister. But that's what it is. And that reminded me that Christmas in Australia is about getting over your differences, getting over your issues amongst your family, and just giving love one chance for one day just to exist and be and celebrate it. That's what it was. That's why in COVID, where they banned family members coming, that's a law against. That's like a cultural law being broken or something. Is awful. Anyway, that's it. That's my Christmas story, folks. Thanks for having me on. Hope I didn't offend anyone too much. And
I hope you did. No, that's a beautiful story. I think you woke up in the morning, had a forest. That's amazing. Like I said, everybody, go along to cafelockedout.com and you can find Cafe Locked Out and Michael Gray Griffith on Substack and all of the other social media platforms wherever
Rumble.
you might visit. Yep, all of them.
Yeah.
Make sure you have a wonderful Friday. If anybody is heading to Fremantle this evening for a dinner with Gerard Rennick, I will see you there. I'm very much looking forward to that. And I wish you all a wonderful weekend. And make sure you don't do anything I wouldn't do, I suppose. See you, Michael. See you, everyone.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Strength of a woman.